All right, Brian, let's jump into the defensive keys to victory. Let's revisit those and talk about this amazing defense that Notre Dame has overall and see if they lived up to the billing of your defensive keys to victory. So first one up is dominate up front. And 8 sacks up front, Brian. Was that a dominating performance?
Even with the first quarter where you let them go down the field, you were getting kind of pushed off a little bit off the line. There was a couple moments where I thought they gave a little bit up too much ground in the run game, but like Florida State was ripping off like 6-yard runs. They had like couple 10 pluses, but even still, Vince, when you look at it, it's like, yeah, there was a little bit too much of that, but Florida State still rushed for 120 yards on 43 carries and didn't get to 100 yards passing. Yeah. So,
right.
I mean, like their pass game has been awful all year, but the lowest they've had before that was 115 against Miami. And they threw a TD pass, no picks in that game. Notre Dame held them to 88 passing yards. That's a pretty dominant performance. Last time they did that was last year. Something worse than that was last year in the ACC title game. They held Louisville to 55, or Louisville held them to 55. When it was with their backup quarterback. The difference is in this game. In that game, Louisville kept their starters in the whole game because it was a 16-6 game. They were at 44 yards when the Notre Dame pulled their starters, and they were not going to complete any more passes against the first-team defense. It just wasn't going to happen.
Right.
And they did that without Howard Cross for 2/3 of the game, like for over half the game. And it was kind of like that injury woke that D-line up a little bit, and they just took the game
specifically Riley Mills.
Yeah, but here's Riley went off, but then Howard's replacement, Donovan Heinisch, comes in and he gets 2 sacks.
Yep.
So like it's just that next man. I mean, think about this, Vince. They did what they did against Florida State without their starting Viper, their best pass rusher, and their preseason All-American defensive tackle. That's what they did most of that without those guys.
Yeah.
Because I think they only had like 1 sack at that point in time when Howard went down, and then they just kind of went off after that.
Yes, they did.
So
and then, they were in their face all day.
Yeah, so like, did they give up a little bit too much, room on the ground? Yeah, I mean, they did. I would have liked to see them hold them to fewer than 120 yards. I mean, I would have, but that's a nitpick. They were dominant. 8 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. Yeah. It's hard for me to get too picky about that.
Yeah, it's a plus for me. I mean, it was fun watching these guys just kind of pin their ears back and get after Florida State. I mean, after that first drive, which was frustrating. Look, I'm not going to lie. When I was sitting there watching that first drive, I was like, really? Just going to let them drive right down the field and just run it right down your throat? Like, wow, this is happening. But then they, like you said, they emptied the clip on that first drive and they only ended up with a field goal. And then it was all downhill from there. I mean, the defense just absolutely dominated at that point. So, absolutely. So it's a plus for me. Did you say it was a plus for you?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Like I said, I could nitpick. Okay, it wasn't perfect, but it was dominant.
Yeah. That's fair. No, that's fair. All right, let's see here. Defensive key to the game part 2 was confuse the quarterback. And yeah, I'm interested to hear what you have to say about this one because obviously the quarterbacks were not good in the passing game by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, Brock Glenn started out, what was it? He had 1 completion in his first.
It's like 11 or 12 or something like that, wasn't it?
11. He was 1 for 11 to start off the game. So
yeah, he wasn't good.
No, he wasn't good. And one of those was the pick to Clark. So,
well, I mean, Florida State did throw a touchdown pass in the game to Notre Dame.
Sure.
But
to Notre Dame. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I thought they did a good job of confusing them. Honestly, it's like Notre Dame kind of let the game come to them a little bit. I think they were curious what Florida State was going to kind of do in the first drive. And once they kind of figured out what Florida State's game plan was, which was a lot of bootleg, a lot of moving the quarterback outside, they were not going to just let the quarterback sit in the pocket all game. And once Notre Dame got a read on that, they were pretty good. Like there was even the play, where like, and this kind of goes back to the last play. We didn't mention how well Junior Chalamaka played, but there was a play on there, Vince, where they rolled out and they were double teaming RJ Oben and holding him. And he just rips through the 2 guys. And he's like, get off me. And he gets outside and the the quarterback was about to turn the corner, and once he saw RJ open get through that double team, he couldn't turn the corner, and he just kind of threw the ball away. And it was like, yeah, they weren't comfortable with what they were seeing. No, Notre Dame was doing a lot of showing linebacker blitzes and then dropping them. They didn't blitz their linebackers a whole lot this game.
No, they didn't.
And they haven't needed to in recent games. They haven't blitzed their linebackers a lot on first and second down in recent games because I think there's a lot more confidence that the defensive line can get to the quarterback by itself. Yeah, I thought that there was a lot there that the quarterbacks just weren't comfortable. And they're not good anyway. Their quarterbacks are not. The Croman-Holt kid is actually talented. He's just a true freshman playing on a really bad team. Brock Glenn is not good. He's not a good quarterback. The Croman-Holt kid, he's going to be all right if they can coach him up and keep him alive in the pocket. But, he's a nice quarterback, but Brock Glenn is just not a good player. And Notre Dame did exactly to a kid like that. I mean, went 5 of 18 for 51 yards and 2 picks.
Right.
Which is partly why Notre Dame's yardage total wasn't greater because they had multiple drives that they started on very short fields, and then they lost a series because of the pick 6. That's partly why they only had 453 yards.
Yeah.
Because
the second team would have still gotten, yardage.
And the play by Luke Tallett is a perfect example. I mean, it was their starting quarterback. So, it was Notre Dame's backup defense, but it was their starting quarterback. And Luke Tallett rolls down, and guy runs an out cut, and he doesn't realize that Luke Tallett is robbing all the way down, undercuts the route. Great read by Luke, makes a great catch, and then takes it to the house.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd give him a plus on that one.
That's still one of my favorite stats of the day is that he had 79 yards receiving for them and for Florida State, and they only had 88 total the rest of the game. Like that's still one of my favorite stats. It was only 9 yards shy of their entire total. So that was awesome.
Wasn't Luke Tallett the leading pass catcher in the game for either team?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, without even looking at it, I don't think anybody got 79.
I think Greathouse was at 66 for Notre Dame. He was their leader. Now, again, he didn't do a whole lot in the fourth quarter because of the lead, but yeah, Luke Tallett had the most receiving yards in the game.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? But what a great play by him. He baited him so bad. I mean, that was so freaking fantastic. All right. Next defensive key to victory was early down success.
Yeah, they dominated that one.
Yeah,
they absolutely dominated that one.
I mean, they dominated all downs, to be honest with you, but yes, early downs as well.
Yeah,
no doubt. I mean, they were 3 of 17 on third down. They were 1 of 2 on fourth down. I mean, yes.
Yeah, Vince, I'm publishing that article that just so you guys know real quick. Nolan James just announced his commitment to Notre Dame. That was the article that I was working on getting written before we started the show tonight. So I just wanted to let you guys know that Nolan has committed to Notre Dame. We will break that down after we're done with this segment, but just wanted to give you guys a heads up that did officially happen. So
that actually went down.
Yeah, it was. He was supposed to go at 8:30. He did it a couple minutes early. So
he's messing with us.
Yeah. But anyway, I kind of get your thoughts on the early down success. I thought after the first drive, I thought they dominated first and second down.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the thing. I mean, they were behind the sticks so much. That's one of the reasons they were 3 of 17 on third down, and why they had to go for it a couple of times on fourth down is because Notre Dame was so successful on first and second down. I mean, they had third and long. I would love to see the breakdown, and I know you'll have that at some point. But like the breakdown of down and distance on third downs for Florida State, they had third and long an awful lot. I mean, you're not 3 of 17 if you've got a bunch of 3rd and 3s or 3rd and 2s, to try to convert. We're talking 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10 plus, an awful lot. And that's because of the success that Notre Dame had on first and second down. I mean, they were just harassing Florida State on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And it was just, they didn't know what to do is basically what it comes down to. They didn't have a plan. After that first series,
they had a plan. There was nothing they could do. They were dominated athletically. They were dominated in the trenches. I mean, it has to be Vince, I was in a game like that once, and it's just like, it's so, you're just like, I don't really know what to do. We're so dominated that there's nothing in my bag of tricks that says, hey, we're dominated in the trenches, but at least we're getting our butts kicked outside. You know what I mean? So it's like,
right.
There's nothing in the bag of tricks. That's what everybody saw. Norvell's got to he's got to hire a new OC. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. He probably should at this point in time because he needs to focus more on being the head coach with everything going on. But like, there's not an OC in the planet that's going to be able to make up for the fact that they're just so overwhelmed by what Notre Dame could do to them in the trenches and on the perimeter. Like this is what people don't understand. Like Notre Dame is a really athletic football team on defense, like really athletic. There's a couple times that I think Florida State's running backs thought they were about to get to corner and just nope.
And there's not going to be many running backs in the country that are going to be able to get a corner on Notre Dame's defense on a regular basis.
No, there really aren't. So, like after the first drive, Vince, let's just go through Florida State's first down gains: 2 yards, 1 yard. Let's see here. Second quarter, 6 yards, first down, 5 yards, 0 yards, sack on second down, 5 yards, 2 yards on second down, third down punt. Next drive, got a 0 yards, incomplete pass, ended up going, 3rd and 10, you get sacked. So you go in the second half, first down, you get 7 yards, then a first down, 3 yards.
That was on a scramble, by the way. That 7 yards was on a QB scramble.
Sack on second down, drive over, and then intercepted on third down. 8 yard gain on a scramble. Then you get to second and down, get a false start, you get +1 on 2nd and 7, so you're now at 3rd and 6, just like that, right? And they ended up getting the first down on that when there's a blown coverage by the defense. 1st and 10, you get 4 yards, and then 0 yards on 1st and 2nd down. You convert a 3rd down, again, up the middle, another blown assignment by Notre Dame on that particular drive. That was the other drive that I was really annoyed. And then -2 on 1st down, -8 on 2nd down. And then the next thing you know, they're going for it on 4th down and they get sacked. That was that drive in the second half where they drove into territory and then Notre Dame just,
Well, and that was 2 of their 3 third down conversions were on that drive right
on
there,
that
by the way.
Yeah.
So just wanted to highlight
it was just like next drive, -2 on 1st down. You get into the 4th quarter.
I stopped keeping track at that point,
-3,
to be perfectly honest with you.
+2, so you're 3rd and 11. It was one of those things, Vince, where like they got Notre Dame was offsides on a play, so then they were 1st and 5. They only got 3, and they got 0, so they're in 3rd and 2, despite not starting to play off on 1st and 5. They just dominated on 1st down. I mean, they really did. They really did.
Yep. All right, the final key to victory defensively is very simple: get the ball, create turnovers. I mean, pretty simple stuff. And I believe they only ended up with 1 official turnover. No, 2 interceptions, right? You had the Clark interception, the Luke Talich interception. So 2 picks, but they did force the ball on the ground once. They didn't recover it, but it was 4th down, so it didn't really matter. They were getting the ball there anyway.
But that's a turnover. I mean, it's literally called turnover on downs.
Well, that's a good point. No, that's a good point. Yeah. So
what do you write in your note? That happens, Vince. I write TOD. That's what I write. Turnover on downs, I think I wrote sack fumble is what I wrote. Yeah. No, I just mean as far as like end of play
fumble.
result.
Right.
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So, 2 turnovers, and there was a couple other
for
plays.
A touchdown. So
yeah. Oh, a lot of the passes that weren't complete were throw. I mean, they threw the ball away a lot. I mean, that's one thing I'd like to go back and count is how many throwaways Florida State had.
Yeah,
in that game, because like they were just like, dude, screw it, we're just, we're throwing it away. So,
yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
That was dominant performance.
Defense had a great game.
And we this defense, I believe I had said before the game, it had forced 2 turnovers in all but 2 games this year, and now that's another one. You chalk up another one. In that situation. So you've now in your 9 games, you've forced at least 2 turnovers in 7 of the 9. The ones you didn't were Stanford and Northern Illinois. And, you've got 20 turnovers. Last year's defense is good. Was really good at turnovers too, Vince. They had 24 in 13 games. This team has 20 and 9. You know what I mean? So Golden's first year. Remember, they didn't force a turnover till the fourth game of the year. Finished with 15.
Yeah.
You know, Freeman's first year, they were at 25. Before that, 17 in 2020, 28 in 2019, 21. So, like, they're on a really good pace for turnovers. Really good pace for turnovers right now. So actually, let me figure that out. What would their pace be for a 13 game season? So let me see here real quick. Yeah, they're on pace for 29 forced turnovers.
I like it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, no, the teams are trying to press this defense, and they're trying to do some different things to them, and it's just not working. It's not going to be effective, and Notre Dame's going to continue to take the ball away, and they're going to continue to give their offense short fields, and you know, it's going to be fun to continue to watch this defense. I mean, it just felt like the defensive front had a coming out party in this game, and I'm excited to see kind of how that continues to develop. Obviously, they're not going to have 8 sacks against Army. It's just not an offense that they're set up to do that kind of a thing. But
well, if they do, that means if they end up with like a bunch of sacks against Army, it means that they are destroying Army. Army. And they have to throw the football.
Look, I'm okay with some tackles for loss and some things like that, because that means you're penetrating and you're making them do some different things they don't want to do, which is definitely a possibility. But yeah, I mean, this was just a great game for Notre Dame. And the fact that we didn't even really see a whole lot of the secondary during the game pretty much speaks volumes to what they were able to do on the back end, because as you mentioned, quarterbacks were throwing the ball away an awful lot. And some of that was they were running for their lives, and some of it was there was nowhere to go with the football.
Yeah, there wasn't. I mean, it was a dominant. Again, like they played better than the offense did, Vince. But I
mean, it was
pretty. It wasn't like a vintage. Wow, they were so good. They just overwhelmed them. They were just so much better than Florida State.
You could see the panic on Florida State's face.
Yeah. We talked before the game, the defense for Florida State's much better than their offense. Like, more talented, more productive. Like, their offense has been a mess all year. Notre Dame they kind of just ate them up.
Yeah.
The defensive side were like, you know, this is what can make the game a little bit competitive. They have some future NFL guys on the D line. They have a couple corners that are pretty good. I don't know. I don't think Cypress played, but the Thomas kid's a really good football player, number 8. You know, Shaheem Brown was on my preseason all-opponent team. He was an all-ACC kid last year. You know, like, there's some talent over there. And how are you going to perform against it? This side of the ball is just, they're terrible. There's just no other way around it. Their O-line sucks. Their receivers suck. Their quarterbacks, their starting quarterback is awful. Their running backs are talented, and their backup quarterback's talented, and that's about it. And their running backs made some plays in the game too. But some of that was just more on Notre Dame. But yeah, that's kind of how I felt about it, Vince. But just a dominant performance.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that's going to do it for our defensive keys to victory revisited. Thanks for hanging out with us. And don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button, that notification bell, share with your family and friends. And of course, join the boards.irishbreakdown.com for all your Notre Dame recruiting info. Hint, hint. And a lot of other wonderful things over there. And there's going to be some breakdowns, some video breakdowns, and all of that, as there are every week when Bryan puts that up there in the next day or two. And so you definitely want to get on the boards.irishbreakdown.com.